Welcome everybody back into Icewind Rime of the Frostmaiden. When last you guys were here, your party started out all sitting together in a bar in the town of Easthaven, the name of the Wet Trout. You were all gathered together, having done some work previously, adventuring, so to speak, getting local jobs done, things like that. And you were all gathered together in the Wet Trout having a drink. Noticing around the bar, some of you spoke to a dragonborn barkeep who was delivering drinks around by the name of Nymetra. And she had a bit of an attitude and asked about what had been happening. The world has become a really harsh place here, trapped in this never-ending winter that just seems to go on and on and on. The sun barely rising above the mountains, and trapped in bitter cold, isolated from the rest of the world. You met a tiefling man who ran the local ferry in Easthaven that ferried people across the lakes, but the ferry had become encased in ice and was no longer running, so he spent his time drinking in the trout. He told you a few local rumors that were going on about town. I can't recall off the top of my head exactly what he had told you, but various things. Toot performed some really great dad jokes and made some gold. And eventually you met up with a woman dwarf by the name of Hillen Trollbane, who the talk about town was about the murders, or the talk about the bar and about town was about murders. There had been at least 3 or 4, maybe more, people found dead, each of them with a dagger made out of solid ice stabbed through their heart. Killer without a face has started to terrorize the citizens in this rather bleak worldscape. And Hillen told you that she was a former adventurer whose knees had gotten a bit too rusty and was unable to carry on the work. And she told you she knew what the cause of the murders was. It was a man by the name of Sefik Caltro, she had come to believe, who followed along with a traveling group of like a merchant, like a traveling merchant that moves from town to town throughout what are called the 10 towns in the north. He was acting apparently as the bodyguard for this merchant group by the name of Torgs. Torga Icebane, a dwarf woman who runs Torgs, who travels around and sets up her camp from town to town selling various wares, most of which you learned were probably stolen, but that the murders seemed to follow Torgs around, and particularly in towns where people were being sacrificed. Every town was trying to appease in their own way the goddess of winter's fury, a goddess by the name of Oriel, that the people in this part of the world blame for the winter curse that they're all trapped in. She offered you 200 gold to take care of the problem, saying the local authorities basically have too much on their hands, and implying there was some degree of corruption in some of the towns, maybe not all of the towns, but in some various locations there may be. Not sure who to trust, and that it would just be better and everybody would be better off if this murder were just taken care of, so to speak. You all looking for work, looking for gold, trying to make a living in this sort of harsh environment as resources get tighter, have taken on that medal, or that job, so to speak. She said, bring back proof or evidence that find proof that he is the killer, or ascertain his guilt, is what she said, and then bring back proof that you've taken care of him, and the 200 gold is yours. You all, after that, stepped outside trying to find out information. You had heard from some people around the bar, just talking around, that Torgs was headed towards the biggest town, had left Easthaven some days ago, and was headed towards the biggest town in the 10 towns called Bryn Shander. Now, whether or not their final destination was there, or if they were moving on through Bryn Shander, you don't know, but at least headed in that direction. And you'd heard word that the The watch captains kept note of where various moving troops were moving in and out of town and sort of logged that kind of thing for safety on the roads. And it had been mentioned perhaps speaking to some member of the city guard or city watch might be able to inform you as to where they were headed or whatnot. So you stepped outside, and as you did, you all saw a rather grisly sight. And I'm going to bring you to that grisly sight now. All right. And I'm going to bring you the sound of this site. All right. As you step outside, I'm going to reiterate what you all saw. There's a man who is surrounded by people who has been lit ablaze. He doesn't seem to react to it. He just stands there in dead silence, completely still, as the fire just licks up around him and consumes him entirely. As this is happening, I want Yatara. Roll me a perception check. You had heard rumor about this going on, that this man had been involved in some murders or had been involved in killing some local adventurers here in town, and this was his retribution. You'd also heard that he had tried to disguise himself using some sort of magical means, but he was recognized by his unusual walk. And Jonathan, if you'll open your sheet for Yatara and roll me a perception check.
I didn't do it again. Let me try it again.
Okay. If the audience too.
You rolled an 8 the first time.
Oh,
it showed up in my D&D Beyond, but did not show up in Roll20.
Okay, well, if you know what you rolled, you can tell me an 8.
Yeah, it was.
With an 8, you can't see much as the fire sort of licks around this guy. You do notice that he had a unusual sort of pointy hat that you would be able to say looked like a wizard hat to you. Like, you're a wizard. This guy's wearing a wizard hat, and then he's up in fire. There's a crowd gathered around him as he's being consumed by fire, and they seem to be like warming themselves off of the flames. You see some people also there that look like they're wearing city guard uniforms that are standing around, kind of keeping anybody from stopping this from happening. What doest thou?
I go up to one of the city guards and ask for more information about why this person was set on fire.
Okay, which one? There are, it looks like 4 there. 3 that are in sort of more plain uniforms, and 1 that appears to be more decorated. Has some sort of signia on them that might indicate maybe an officer or something like that.
The one that's more decorated.
Okay. So you walk up to that person, and it is a woman. She's wearing guard uniform and has the insignia of like a captain on her, and she's watching the flames. And what do you say exactly?
I'll ask her if this is another sacrifice.
She looks over and goes, "Aye, no. This poor bastard, he is sentenced and found guilty of the crime of murder. Thought most likely the best way to bring him off would be through fire and retribution."
I ask her, is this the way you handle murderers in your town?
It is when everyone's freezing to death.
So I'd ask her, so what do you know of the sacrifices in this town?
She says, well, I know that the It's a lottery. Everyone's name's entered into it, and those that are drawn are cast out into the cold. Cast out for a reel to appease the goddess. She sort of looks around and says, I personally don't care for it, but I'm not the speaker, as it were, I suppose. What's your name, sir? You don't speak like you're from here.
I'm not. So what can you tell me of this person that burned at the stake?
She says, he's a murderer. He had recruited several, and she sort of looks you up and down, adventuring folk like yourself. It's so seen as you're dressed, to, I don't know, he was very secretive about what he was doing, recruiting them for some purpose. They were traveling out into the wilderness, but when they came back, had them all killed. He tried to flee and go back to wherever he was hiding out at. Came back seeking supplies, we figured. Disguised himself, wherein he disguised himself as an old hermit using some sort of magical means. But you couldn't disguise that limp. Same limp, always dragging a foot behind him. Nobody else walking like that. Guards saw through it right quick. He admitted it too. Owned up to it. He'd killed him. She looks at you and says, things are tough around these parts now. Is anybody else walked up, or is it just still just I'll get over his names eventually. Yatara.
I'm gonna walk.
Okay.
I'm partially made of wood, so I'm standing well back from the fire.
Okay. So Leonard is staying back, but we've got Harkus and we've got Yatara up at the front. I'm gonna move Yatara over here. Here's the captain lady. Who's like this person. What about Granite Guts and Ordella and Toot?
I'm walking. I'm gonna walk up here next to these guys, and I'm just holding my hands down. Like,
yeah, I think I'm standing near Leonard, and I'm just like watching the reactions of everyone here. Just kind of. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So as you're doing that, the fire starts to slowly kind of die down and is drawing down a bit. And as you're sort of all watching, actually a man sort of approaches you and taps you on the shoulder.
Hello.
He looks over at you and he says, "Aye, good sir. I saw what you did in there in the trout. Quite a laugh, I enjoyed it. A belly chuckle, and the gold you brought in. Incredible, incredible. What a talent you have. What a talent indeed."
Indeed,
he looks
thank
you over and he says, "Name's Bartaban."
Nice to meet you.
Toot.
I've come for myself.
And he sort of chuckles when you say Toot. Bartaban Silverhand. Listen, Toot. I'm impressed by your talent. I'd like to make you an offer, if it were. I run one of the local inns around these parts called the White Lady. If you're willing to take up in residence and perform as you did here, I'd be willing to provide you and your compatriots free room and board at the Lady. And you can put your show upon.
I repeat what he said in his words, specifically, or in his voice, in residence, and then I like cock my head to the side as if I'm asking a question. Like, what does that mean? What does he mean by that?
It would mean you could stay there and perform as you like, and if you're able to draw customers in, then you keep the revenue that they tip you, and the benefit that I get is more customers come into the Lady to see you. They drink in the bar, they stay at the inn, and you're able to stay there if you like. Have a place to stay.
Only when we're in East Haven?
Well, it's the only inn I own.
I mean,
I'm
can
from
we
East
leave?
Haven.
Or, I mean, can we leave and come back and then...
Yes, of course. If you're well liked and everything goes well, and I don't see why not, unless you insult some customer or frighten them off or something. But I saw what you did there in the trout, and I'm quite impressed. I'd like to have you at the Lady.
Let me talk it over
gives
with the
you-
others.
He says, absolutely, here. I know the day be getting late, and if you're willing, I'll provide you all a sup here tonight. You can put on your show and have dinner on me. And he hands you a card with the address to the White Lady Inn.
Okay.
And he sort of saunters off towards it. He says, I got to go see about the stew that be cooking. I hope to see you there.
I nod and then turn away.
Okay. And Bartabin sort of walks off. Leonard, you were sort of there present for that, and I think Cadillac Granite Guts, you were sort of there present for that. Flashing back to Yatara and Harkus, who are up by the captain of the guard. You all were asking a question. What did you ask? As that was ongoing?
Well, the question was about the evil wizard that was being burned.
Yeah, and that he had set certain individual or adventurers to be killed. And as she does that, she says, "It's dark times we be having here. Things are getting rough. It's a woman, I forget. Things are getting rough. The people are restless. It's all I can do just to keep things in line, keep riots from breaking out, food riots and such." She looks at you, Harkus, and says, "I take it you two are together? Where are you from?" "Clearly not from these parts."
Waterdeep.
"Wow, Waterdeep, southerner. What brings you all the way up here?"
Adventure.
"Adventure.
Gold.
Well, this would be the place for you." And she looks back over at the rest of the party back there with Toot that was talking to Bartabin. And what is Cadillac Granite Guts and Leonard doing? What's Granite Guts doing?
So Leonard really likes the idea of having a safe place. So I'm all in favor of the idea of our Kenku Bard being artist in residence. So that's my vote. I'm very excited by the idea of having a home.
All right. She looks back over at you, and she'd introduced herself as Captain Imdra Aldrath. And Imdra looks over and she says, "I take it these folks are all with you, eh?" And points over at Cadillac. What's Cadillac doing? As she sort of points over and says, "I take it these folks are with you."
Yes. It's all we're all sort of working together here.
She says,
doing odd jobs and making our way.
"Indeed. Well, as it turns out, there's lots going on. I have my hands full just keeping down trouble." She looks over at you all and she says, "The fire has basically gone out now. As you've been talking for a while, the cold just seems to have extinguished it really quickly after the body was burned and clearly dead." And she looks over and she says, "He left some effects, I suppose." She looks over at all you and she says, "4 fishers. They went missing on Lac Dinshmere 10 days ago. Coastline's hard to sail on, but the fishermen, the best anglers, they actually prefer that in the ice. They catch the best knucklehead there. You're able to walk boats up and down the coast, fishing through the ice and casting your lines, and nobody's seen them since they went missing a 10 days ago. We need someone to scout the coastline and search for them. If you're into adventuring, if you're willing to do that, then maybe something could be arranged for you all.
I think that we're always looking for ways to be of service, and so we can. I'll have to talk with the others, but I think we could probably take this on.
She looks down and she looks over at you and says, well, East Haven would certainly appreciate it. Missing fishermen are not the highest priority in town right now, but I'm sure that if they're in trouble, and she sort of looks down and says, but I must be honest with you, in the elements out there right now, gone a 10-day, this is more of a mission to tell their families what became of them.
So do people go missing often?
No, but out in the wilderness, things happen. And Yatara, you're there, standing near the body. I want you to roll me a perception check, Yatara.
Rolled and 11 plus 2. I don't know if you can see it or not.
13. It is not rolling in Roll20 for whatever reason.
Weird.
Need to fix his beyond 20 extension, but a 13. I had set the DC at a 10 because you should be familiar with this. In the effects of the body that is burned there, you see a sigil that you would maybe recognize. It looks like an upturned hand. And you recognize it as what would be a sigil of the Arcane Brotherhood. It is sort of like a diamond with, it almost looks like antlers, but it is in the shape of like a clawed hand going upwards on the body. She looks, and as she's talking to you, Granite Guts, she says, well, I don't have much gold to offer, but this criminal was into some things, and he had these artifacts. He left these things behind, she says. If you can bring back information as to what became of the fisherman, then I suppose you can have these things of his. She says, thank you all. I have some things to attend to, though. And she starts to leave. Will you have any other questions for her, anything to say to her before she sort of makes her way off? She's sort of signaling to the other guards that they need to wrap up and run the crowd off.
Wish you luck with your errands.
And she says, I don't know what a northern, like, may the force be with you thing would be, but basically that's what she gives you. You had mentioned, or you had been told to ask about the movement of Torgs or Torgas. Is anybody asking about that before she exits?
I would like to ask her about the whereabouts of Sefik.
You ask her about Sefik?
Mm-hmm.
She looks over and she says, I don't know the name Sefik. It's not something that's rung a bell to me. Should I?
Or do you know the name of Torga?
Torga Icewind, yes. Merchant. Kind of a nasty sort. She's not the most pleasant to deal with. Makes her way around these parts. Yes, she and her troop were here. She thinks back probably a 10-day or longer ago. And she says, is it important?
Could be. Do you know which direction they were traveling?
She says, hold on just a moment. And she reaches into like her pocket and pulls out like what looks like some sort of little notebook and kind of looks through it, and she says, yeah, they headed out of here. They were moving to Bryn Shander, and they reported that they were leaving Bryn Shander and headed to Targos, and then on to Bremen. Looks over and says, a 10-day ago, They would probably be in Bremen by now. Or if not now, shortly. And I will show you the map so that makes sense to you. Because you should all be relatively familiar with the location of towns around here. You are all here in East Haven. He told you that Torgas had left East Haven and moved towards Bryn Shander, ultimately moving through Targos and then on to the town of Bremen. As they sort of were plying their wares. A 10-day would be about 10 days ago. They would usually spend 2 or 3 days in each town along their way, and then after 2 or 3 days move to the next town. She says, though, they might have spent longer in Bryn Shander, so it's possible they could still be there, but it looks like, at least on this trip, Bremen is their destination. And she turns to you, Cadillac, and says, "Thank you for your willingness to search for our missing men." And she sort of motions to her compatriot guardsmen and has them move off. They just leave behind the body that remains sort of burning. They make their way off. There's a few people that are still around. Most of the people have sort of scattered. A few people are still warming themselves on the what looks like slightly burning remains. What's everyone doing? Right now it is about, it's afternoon now, because you sort of have been here for a little bit, probably 1 o'clock, something like that. The sun starts to set very early here, and it is dark by 4 p.m.
So,
Probably go and test out Toot's repertoire of jokes.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm like holding up the card and just looking at it.
So Toot, the only people that heard this were Toot and Cadillac and I guess Ordella and Leonard. So
Yeah,
what does Toot say?
I'll move over closer to where everybody is and I'll hold it up and say, "Room and board. Dinner and a show.
Okay.
Free."
So is everybody heading over there to the going to the White Lady now?
Sure.
Yep.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay. You all make your way over to the White Lady Inn. I need to drag you guys into it. You're making your way along the streets, find your way there without too much difficulty. The sign on the outside has a picture of what looks like a ghostly visage of a woman, like a sort of spectral image almost, like the White Lady is like a local ghost story or something along those lines. And as you enter, as you all enter, the bar is relatively quiet. There is a man standing behind the counter of the bar, and Toot, you recognized him. It is indeed Bartabin. And as you enter, he looks over at you all and he says, "Ah, my friends! Toot! So glad you decided to take me up on my offer. Come in. Introduce me to all of your compatriots."
Yeah, I will lead the way over to the bar and I'll plop down in front of him on a bar stool. I'm assuming this is a bar stool.
Yeah.
And I'll start pointing to each of them and I will say their name in their voice. So Cadillac Granite Guts, Ordelia Elvensteer, Yatara of name I don't know.
Like Madonna.
Yeah. Harcus, Broadtooth, and Leonard. Not to be confused with Leonard.
As you all are entering the bar, there is a man sitting at the bar, and he has what looks like a mandolin or something in his hands. And he looks over at all of you and says, Bartman, bringing in more entertainment. And as he stands up, you recognize that he is in fact not a man, but he's a halfling, as he sort of plops down, and he is much shorter than would be expected. And he walks over to you, Toot, and extends a hand and says, Ronaldo's the name.
Toot.
And he sort of laughs a bit at Toot.
And I say, I'll play, you tell jokes.
He smiles and says, that sounds great. And hands you the mandolin.
I'll jokingly attempt to play the mandolin. I don't know how well he can do this, but
roll me a performance check.
sure.
Take disadvantage since you don't know how to play a mandolin.
Yeah. So do I just roll it twice?
Yep, we take the lower of them.
Yeah.
With a 7, you take the mandolin and goes, and he sort of laughs and says, better you tell jokes.
Okay. I hand it back and say, tell me a joke.
And he looks over you and says, a kinku playing a mandolin.
Touche.
And Bartabin laughs a good bit at that, and he says, he sort of looks over at the rest of you and says, "Are you all together?" And then looks over at Cadillac and Harcus and the others that are still standing in the door. I assume you all have moved further into the bar. Is everybody taking seats at the bar, at tables, or what are you doing, Leonard, Yatara, and Ordella?
Leonard is definitely taking up a seat at the bar. He fancies himself an aficionado.
Okay.
Even though I'm not really sure what the taste experience is like for a Warforged, I assume he gets some sort of sensation from it.
Bartabin sort of looks you over and is like, oil?
I think it's more like Data when he turns on his emotion chip.
He brings you a can. He brings you a can of like cooking oil, like uncertain what your kind would drink.
If that's the customary drink, I'll have
it. What is Ordella? Ordella, you've been quiet a lot this session. What is Ordella doing?
I'm moving up to the bar as well and looking for the strongest, warmest drink.
He gets you a pint of hot ale.
That'll do.
And says it's honey mead.
Ooh, even better.
Aye, comes from the town of Goodmead. They ship it across.
Better than mediocre mead.
The last shipment did come in. Don't know what became of it. So might be getting a little bit dry. Some of you may remember that you heard rumor of a frost giant attack on shipments of mead coming out of Goodmead that supplies much of the ale for these parts. Or not ale, I suppose mead for these parts. But he hands you a pint of that and says, enjoy.
Well.
And he looks over at Toot and says, all right, you're on. And he sort of motions to you like, do your thing.
Okay. I will attempt to clamber on top of the bar.
Okay.
I don't
You're
know if
able
there's a
to- you're-
stage here, but I don't.
Nope, not really a stage. Just you clamber on top of the bar.
Yeah. All right. And then I'll say a man walks into a magic forest and tries to cut down a talking tree. You can't cut me down, the tree complains. I'm a talking tree. The man responds, you may be a talking tree, but you'll dialogue.
Okay, roll me performance. Do better than that 7 and 8. You hear a couple like a few like little chuckles around, and
It's like it's so bad it hurts you to laugh kind of situation.
well, Ronaldo like takes his mandolin and does a little.
I do the same thing on my little hand drum.
Actually, then if you do that with the hand drum, I think he plays like the Tonight Show. Yeah, you got any more? Second attempt.
Sure.
You don't actually have to tell a joke if you don't want to tell a joke. You can roll
Yes, you do.
performance. Okay.
I mean, I've got jokes. Hang on. Let's go with. Okay, I will look at. Sorry, I'm trying to remember everybody's names. I will look at Leonard and say, what happens to a robot after they go defunct? They rest in peace.
All right, one more time. Roll me performance.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
There's a few more chuckles this time. Bartman sort of looks over at you and's like, "I know you can do it. I saw what you did at the Trout." And he looks over at Ronaldo and says, "Trust me. This guy's got good material." I was laughing.
Can I roll to help? Because Leonard thinks that this is hilarious. Like,
yeah,
he's the perfect audience for this.
Sure, take advantage on that roll. If Leonard's just busting out laughing, Leonard, are you actually laughing or are you performing a laugh?
Oh no, I am actually laughing. Leonard thinks this is hilarious.
Okay, yeah, then roll performance one more time with advantage. There, that's better.
Right.
Yeah, Bardabin looks over and says, "This guy gets it," and lets out a raucous chuckle. And you hear a few people sort of clapping in the background and giving a little applause. And you hear some laughs and things like that. And he says, "Well, dinner'll be out in a minute," and he sort of moves back to do some work back at the back as some other folks are currently cooking and fixing things up.
Well, I'll take a bow, and can I try to do a front flip off the bar?
Yeah, roll me acrobatics.
Sure.
Yeah, you're able to do it. It's not the most graceful thing in the world. Like, you don't look like an Olympian, but you're able to land on your feet and not break any bones as you and land down. You hear a couple people sort of clap. It's relatively quiet, but Bardabin seems happy with your performance so far and seems to be readying dinner. While that's all happening, Rinaldo looks over at all of you and say, "You guys been doing adventuring around these parts, eh?"
Who's he speaking to?
Just in general to the people that are sitting next to him, which would be Harkus, Ordella, Granite Guts, Toot, and Yatara. I assume Yatara, are you at the bar next to everybody? Or are you doing other? Okay. Yeah, so the people that are around him, Leonard's kind of off to the other side, laughing in the corner at his jokes. So he's sort of asking that to the people that are around him, which would be most of you guys.
I'll nod as I'm taking a sip of honey mead.
Okay. The honey mead is quite good. It's really quite good. It's a shame that he says there's only a few more casks of it and it'll be out. He says bad things have been happening around these parts. Just so you know, I was planning to try to query the White Lady, if that would interest any of you. He says, I can see that you're not from here, so you don't know the story. He says, the namesake of this bar, it was once owned by a rich miser and his wife. Word says that he always kept his treasure with him, locked in a heavy chest, never left his side. Lost beneath the lock, they say. Treasure went down with him. His lady had passed away a few years hence. They say he'd seen her ghost. Perhaps it was that. Perhaps it was the treasure. Deep beneath the waves, it still sits. They say the lady haunts these parts. But I was thinking, maybe we could conduct a seance here. Talk to the lady. Ask her. Things. Treasure. You know. Would help. He sort of looks over at the rest of you and say, interest?
Oh.
Have you done this before?
I've never been really successful at it, but I have seen things happen here. You know, plates move on their own, sounds in the night, and some people have even seen the lady. But I mean, we live in dark times. Perhaps the spirit of the White Lady can help. Aren't you curious to hear what she has to say?
I'm gonna look over there and say no and just pound the ale.
Yeah, I just make a big slurping noise out of my mug. Don't say anything.
No.
I just awkwardly look at my companions and wait for somebody to say something.
So Harkus is just like going, no. He looks over at you and says, but I mean, answers. We need answers.
A fool messes with things he doesn't understand.
What say you? And he looks over at Yutara. You look to be the magically unkind sort. We don't need to fear these things.
Can I do an investigation to see if I can deduce anything about this person?
Yeah, roll insight. Or are you investigating? Are you trying to get insight into what your intuition is? Or are you trying to look at him to see if you detect anything by looking him over that he's got on him or anything?
Yeah, by physically looking the person over.
Okay, by looking him over. Okay, if you're looking him over, roll perception.
It was a 15.
15. What you notice is that he is wearing relatively humble clothes. His mandolin or whatever he has instrument is not the most expensive type. You can tell by the way that it is sort of carried and the way that he sort of has kept it, that he's not like a professional musician by training or anything like that. Probably self-taught musician, and you don't see any of the regalia of like a bardic college. Like, he certainly wouldn't be somebody that was well trained in magic. Maybe he knows a little bit here and there, but he certainly is not like a powerful bardic magic user like you would recognize from certain bard colleges based on just looking him over. Now, if you're looking to see is he being honest or like that sort of thing, that would be an insight check.
I wanted to see if there was something physically interesting on this person.
Yeah,
other than vanilla.
Yeah, he's just sort of has poor type of clothing and and an instrument that you don't notice anything like. You don't notice any sort of like magical items on him or that he's hiding anything. He just seems to have commoner's clothing and instrument that is not super well cared for. But he looks over at you and he's like, "It would be interesting, you know. What if you could find the treasure? Wow. But besides that, what if the lady had the answer to what's happening here, to this winter that never wants to end?"
What if the lady devours your soul?
He looks over at you as you say that, and sort of a chill kind of goes up his back. He goes, oh, never thought about that before. But still, the lady's never harmed anyone here before. Well, it doesn't seem that you have much interest. What say you, and he looks over at the half-orc Ordella.
Sorry, I missed the first part dealing with a baby.
Oh, no. He's trying to convince people to help him participate in a seance to summon the spirit of the ghost, which this bar is named after, because her husband was a miser and there's some money that's hidden somewhere, and the spirit may also have information about what's happening in East Haven and in the world. He appears to be a self-styled bard that doesn't seem to have much formal education or training.
No, that's against my religion.
Well, fair enough. Perhaps another group would be willing to help me. And you hear Bartman yell from the back. He goes, "Ronaldo, quit trying to get people to engage in your hocus pocus. I don't pay you in soup to trade in mystical seances. I pay you to play the mandolin." And he sort of laughs and says, fair enough, fine, and gets back to playing. After a while, dinner is brought out to everybody, and you guys are served a meal. You have made not that much gold. You had one hit and a couple of misses here. You've made probably like, I don't know, 5 gold pieces. We'll say 6 gold pieces. So if you were dividing it, the math is easy for the night's work, which is really a lot in this world. But compared to what you did previously at the Trout, where people were just throwing money at you, not that great, but not a bad night. So 6 gold pieces are tossed your way, Toot, for your performance that evening, and food is offered. And what's everybody doing while offered food, since the offer of seance has been refused?
Food is not against my religion.
You pass out gold pieces, and food is not against your religion?
Correct.
No. So you eat. The stew is not bad. The honey mead is much better than the stew, but as you drink it, and you hear Bardaban comment again, it's a shame the last shipment hasn't made it. Well, we can always rely on old. He looks back and he sort of sniffs into a barrel. Oh, well. Maybe we can dilute it. Anyways.
Jeff, I'd like to roll to see how much I like the stew.
Okay. How much this could be a character decision for you.
No, Leonard doesn't know.
Okay, so here's the thing. Leonard, this is a total character decision. You were given a glass of like cooking oil because he didn't know if you drank food or oil or what. And I want you to compare the cooking oil to stew and decide as a character which one was tastier to you.
Okay, I'm gonna roll a d20 for the tastiness of the stew.
All right.
All right.
The stew is super tasty. Leonard has
All right.
discovered that he eats food.
Yes, the stew is super tasty. All right, wonderful. Yeah, I'm team
I think
food all the
I
way.
think while you're having that, you have a cup of somebody else's honey mead and realize that it is amazing. And why were you drinking oil?
I'm gonna ask the guy where I can get more of the honey meat.
He says he hands you a pint and says, "Last keg being tapped here." He looks over and says, "Last shipment from the town of Goodmead hasn't made its way here."
When was it supposed to be here? Because I want more of this.
New quest.
Supposed to be
Yeah.
here 3 days ago.
I'm just gonna take my mug, slam it down, and go. By God, we'll go find it.
Forget the murders.
Hey Jeff,
with
do
him.
you,
as the DM is quickly flipping through his book, going shit.
yeah.
Delete that out of the YouTube video. So as you can edit it, as the DM is quickly looking through his book, going darn.
Index, good meat.
Abandoned murders.
Thought for sure they would go for the seance.
So it is a very open world. You guys can go in. I'm actually prepared for all of these consequences. Actually,
do
The
you mind
joke is we
throwing?
all get murdered when we try to save the mead.
what did you say?
I was going to ask if you could throw that map into like our handout so we can reference it whenever someone says good meat or Bryn Shander or
Yeah, I
Brennan
sure
or
will. I'll
whatever.
show you. I will put it in your. I'll make a handout of it and throw it in handouts. But
That rocks.
the town of Goodmead is over here.
Actually, not that far from where we're at.
It's basically on the way. to
Uh,
Brent.
Well, it is. If you're going to Bryn Shander to get to the town of Goodmead, it's about 5 miles out of the way. It would take you an extra day to your journey if you made your way over to Goodmead.
That's assuming that the mead hasn't already left and we don't find it halfway there.
That's a very good point.
It's a gamble I'm willing to
look.
take.
And so we were told that this was a giant thing, right? Killed
yeah,
the
there
speaker
were-
that took the mead.
Yeah, I will tell you the exact rumor that you heard.
They said a 9-foot tall dude. That's not really a giant.
Yeah.
Like Leonard is 6'7".
And people
We-
always exaggerate.
Yeah, no worries, right?
He had teeth and fangs and spit fire.
The town, the rumor was that the town speaker was recently killed by a 9-foot tall giant, and rumor has it that the giant stole a shipment of honey mead, without which a handful of taverns in the 10 towns might go dry. And it seems the White Lady is one of said taverns. You all are offered, as the night comes to the end of the night, they're just cats crawling all over everybody in this game. You are all offered board. It's not fancy accommodations. You all are offered room in the like workers' quarters, which is over here. Real guests would stay upstairs, but there's a bunch of beds. It is warm and not outside, and you're not paying gold for it. Ronaldo moves and grabs a bed as guests are sort of funneling out. And I assume everybody is turning in for the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll grab a bed in the sleep quarters.
So I'm not going to do this every time we rest, but Toot has a bit of a like nighttime regimen,
Okay.
so to speak, where he is kind of going over all the phrases that he's heard that day, and he's not doing it loudly, but he's like repeating them in the voices that he heard, just to try to ingrain them in his head, so that it's more things that he can utilize later.
So Toot is defragging the hard drive.
Kind of, yeah.
I move a few more beds down.
Leonard, unfortunately, doesn't sleep, but stands still for 6 hours and can see and hear the whole time.
So Leonard powers down. Where does Leonard power down at?
Just in the corner.
You have to be plugged in, or
Bardabin looks over at the people that are, as Leonard's powering down in the corner, looks over at Harkus and Yatara, and he says, "Does see they do that? What's he doing?"
All the time.
If you want to move him now, you're gonna have to carry him 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks really heavy.
no
I'll
wheels.
just leave him.
You gave him
And,
the oil.
Bardabin says, "Good night," and he goes up the steps and then up another set of steps to what seems to be an upstairs section of inn, where the guests that are staying there are staying. And I assume Yatara and Harkus grab beds. I don't know where Yatara went. What I do with Yatara? There's Yatara.
Now who's moving me?
I was moving everybody.
Not bed jumping.
All right. Is anybody setting watches, or are you all just going to bed with Leonard as your permanent watch sentinel in the corner?
Yeah, I need to figure more about how that works, because I don't know what happens if I encounter something that I would like to alert people about.
But you're a damn
description-
statue.
The description says 6 hours, immobile, but can see and hear.
So
Awkward.
you just can watch your friends get murdered.
Right.
As a
Terror.
single tear rolls down your mechanical cheek as everyone is slaughtered.
Oil can.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, fortunately, since you were all in an inn in a relatively safe town, the night passes without event. There's no need to set any watch. The next day arrives, and it is still gray and very cold. Where all are you going, or what all are you doing?
So as I step out of the quarters that we've been allotted here, I look around for any items that have been moved around suspiciously by the gray lady in the night, or the white lady.
Sorry, the white lady. Yes. Go ahead and roll me perception.
Okay.
I don't see where it rolled. Is it rolling for you?
I think,
A 20.
yeah, I think it said 20.
It's like it's not crossing over from the game log in D&D Beyond to
Oh, that's weird.
20.
You need to make sure that the Beyond 20 extension is working for you.
Oh, I think I know.
Okay.
Let me make sure roll 20 is open in this window. That's probably what's going on. But at any rate, yeah, 20.
So you rolled
let
a
me see
20.
if I can roll just randomly and see if it shows up.
I mean, it's working for some folks. So, yep,
Yeah.
that worked.
Yeah.
And that was,
That worked for both. A custom roll. There goes. That rolled. Yeah, so you rolled a 20 perception. Okay. With the 20 perception, you do notice something has changed just a little bit. There was a portrait on the wall of a woman, and you had not really noticed it before when you came in here, or maybe you did notice it, and it was you just assumed that it was indeed the white lady, and she was standing in front of sort of a scenic backdrop. The lady doesn't seem to be the focus of the backdrop. But what you clearly notice is that in the painting, the woman has changed directions that she was facing.
So what is she? Is she facing anything in particular now?
No, she was facing to the left, and now she seems to be facing to the right.
Interesting. I still don't want to seance with this spirit, but it's interesting. I sort of stroke my beard and stare at the painting for a bit.
I take the painting off the wall and put it down, face down on the table.
as he's staring
That's
at
how we roll.
Do you say anything, or you just go like, no?
Nope.
Okay, the painting is face down on the table. Bardabin looks over at you and goes, as he's walking out, he goes, well, good morning, my art. Please don't damage the bar. He looks over at you, Toot, and says, you can come back when you like. The lady is your home now.
I yawn and say thank you and shake my head at Ordella. Is it Ordella or Ordelia? Ordella. I don't say anything. I just shake my head. Like, don't tear anything up.
Smash.
All right. So it's morning time. You are all able to get some breakfast. And if anybody needed a long rest, you have it. I don't think you've encountered anything that should take anything from you guys yet, but long rest has been had. And where's the party off to?
Good mead.
Yes.
That was some good mead.
Okay. So you all are heading towards good mead. Are you doing anything before leaving?
I'll put the painting back on the wall and walk away.
Okay, you guys all are at the White Lady here. You know of the White Lady. And you also know of the Wet Trout here in town, which is over here. So you're at the White Lady and you are leaving the town of East Haven, and you're going to travel down the Eastway. Is there anything anybody has to do in town before you leave? It's morning time.
Gonna hankering for market roulette.
You're gonna go look around and see if you can find a market?
He knows what I'm saying. Leonard is in.
Leonard has never purchased an item before, so he's definitely in.
Yeah, there is a market in the downtown area. It's as you get there, what you find is it's not like a open like market of like shopkeepers like maybe you're sort of thinking like in past, like open stalls, like open air market. This too cold, one might say. And if everybody is heading down towards the East Haven like shops row, I'll take you all there. We'll go there.
Yeah, Leonard is looking for something shiny. That's the qualifier.
Yeah, there are several. It is bitter cold as you're outside. Does anybody have winterized gear on? Who am I missing? I'm missing Toot. What's everybody wearing? As you're outside, you feel just the sting of extreme bitter cold biting all of you.
So Harkus has been here for a while.
Yeah.
And even before the sort of group had gotten here. So he's pretty acclimated to the surroundings.
Okay, so we'll say that you've got standard winterized coat and boots. Have you ventured outside of the cities very far, or just mostly kind of in town?
So he sort of came up here because he basically led a group up here and then has been working in the area before sort of getting together with
Okay.
this band of adventurers. So
okay,
he's been sort of around the 10 towns and been running.
gotcha.
Sort of,
So you're familiar with the trails and things like that.
yeah.
Okay. So everybody's probably wearing mostly winterized stuff, but it's still just being outside. It like hurts the exposed skin on your face and on your hands as the wind sort of blows and whips. It's it's almost it is uncomfortable. There are a few shops around you all that have like open signs on their doors. One is a like an outfitter, like an outdoors outfitter. There's another that is sort of a armory of sorts. It's called the Crossed Blades. There's another that is an alchemical shop. And then there is there's what looks like a arcane store. There's not like a open stall of like random market stuff, but where's everybody going? You were looking for something shiny, so we've got outfitters, clothing, adventuring gear, armory, arcane, and alchemical.
I think I'm gonna go for the outfitters.
Okay.
Looking for something shiny to wear, perhaps.
Okay. Yeah, as you sort of go in there, mostly what they have. And what's the name of this outfitter? Leonard.
This is Dandy Randy's. It's the premier outfitter in East Haven.
Yes, that's where you're at.
All right, Dandy Randy's.
Dandy Randy's. As you enter there is a maybe a halfling man with a goatee, with a porn star goatee. He looks over at you and says, "Welcome to Dandy Randy's. I'm Randy. What can I get you?"
Randy, my good sir, I am looking for something shiny to wear.
And he strokes his long goatee and says, a fine mechanical man such as you want something stylish, I take it.
Yeah, an accessory.
An accessory, so to speak. And he brings out a drawer of what look like necklaces for you to inspect and look at. There are several of different sizes and shapes. Some of them adorned with gems. Some of them adorned with like interesting metals and things like that.
Randy, do you like mead?
Oh, sometimes. I prefer a good distilled spirit myself.
Randy, I like mead. I don't know what a distilled spirit is, but I'm on a mission to get more mead for the town. And this bauble will help me, which will probably get you more customers. So, what do you got for me?
So you need something that might help you along the way, so to speak.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I don't typically keep arcane type items or accessories that would provide some sort of mechanical benefit to one. I mostly have style. But if what you're looking at is to look really stylish while drinking your mead, then I would suggest this one. And he pops out a necklace, which it is sort of made out of what looks like gold, and has it's kind of oddly shaped because it's sort of crescent moon looking, and has like dangling like red and green baubles off of the front of it, where the crescent sort of goes around the neck and it sort of dangles forward. It says, I think this might fit you perfectly.
Leonard agrees.
He looks over at it and he says, well, that'll be 25 gold pieces.
Uh-oh, how much money do I have? I think I have that much, right? Let me see. Leonard. Where's your kid? Oh, it's in D&D Beyond. Where's money in D&D Beyond? Inventory? Oh, no. No, I don't.
You got 6 from, I know. How much gold pieces do you have?
No, I have 16.
16. 16 gold pieces. Well,
He slowly takes the necklace back off you.
he looks over at you
Back in
and
the drawer.
says, so you're trying to get ale, huh?
If I give you 16, I can't get any mead.
Roll persuasion. As he slowly reaches over and says, 25. And takes the necklace and puts it back into a jar, into a container. And he opens up another container that has a single-stranded silver necklace with interlocking chains, and says, perhaps this would be more of a 16 gold size and style.
Yes, it would be.
Well, very good. And he passes you the necklace. Takes 16 gold.
All right. So Leonard is broke, but
Has a very stylish necklace.
since he emulates human emotion, he uses a random generator to decide how he responds to situations.
Okay. You have a stylish necklace.
Wonderful.
What's everyone else doing?
So is Dandy Randy's the only sort of clothing and accessories place?
No. Dandy Randy's probably has more like city wear. He's got street wear. There's outdoor gear that would sell like ropes and pythons and crampons and these sorts of things. The robot went into the ladies' jewelry store.
Okay, so I want a place that sells like just garments. Although that might be Dandy Randy's.
Dandy Randy's would sell like ball gowns and,
I don't
and
want.
tuxedos, and the other places might sell like winter coats and boots.
So Cadillac looks forlornly in his palm.
We're all gonna go shopping this whole session.
He looks at his hand forlornly at the 7 gold.
I do
pieces
not
he has.
apologize.
It will not be the last.
So
7 gold pieces.
Yeah, I need the 7 gold pieces worth stall. It may be an alley. I don't know.
I think there's a sign up on Dandy Randy's that say 10 gold pieces and up only.
Yeah. So is there,
you must be these many gold to enter.
They can smell the pour on you.
is there an economy clothing store or am I out of luck?
Yeah, for sure. No.
Looking for a Walmart instead of Target.
Yeah, you found there's Walmart. What kind of clothing are you looking for?
A sash or something. A little bit of something to ornament my armor.
Yeah, you can find this in Dandy Randy's.
Okay.
This would be Dandy Randy's.
Okay.
This feels very much like airplane where he goes, what do you make out of this? I can make a hat. I can make a brooch.
Okay, so
Yes, you're turning into Mrs. Doubtfire, and to do so, it's going to cost you three gold pieces for a sash. You don't have the 16-piece necklace.
Okay, so well, I'm asking.
Are you? Yeah.
So Dandy, I noticed my friend. You gave him a lovely necklace.
Kenny, while you're lovely necklacing, I want you to roll me a D100 and a D20, please.
Okay.
Okay. Noted. Yes, so you noticed you with the necklace. Yes. He says, yes, your friend got the economy model, so to speak.
So I am new to my order, and I am in the order of the mushroom. But as you can tell on my armor, I don't have anything to let people know what my order is, and this is very important to me. I worked hard. So do you have anything with mushrooms on it?
Well, I'm not an armorer, but
I just want a piece of fabric, a sash, or something that I can drape over my armor to show what order I'm in.
I could make you a mushroom.
Okay.
Dandy Randy is a tailor.
Okay.
So yeah, he's willing to do this work for you. He could produce a mushroomed cloth. Are there any special properties that you'd like to have on this said mushroom?
I throw down my 7 gold pieces on the counter, and I said, the finest this money will purchase.
He looks at it and he says,
Crayon.
Noted, no special properties.
Its special property will be, it means a lot to me.
He says, it will be ready for you in 1 to 2 days.
All right.
Take me a day to sew it up.
I am very happy with this.
Okay.
And I'm now poor as a church mouse.
What is everyone else doing?
I like pretty things.
All right.
Does he have magical pretty things?
There is an arcane shop. You don't know if there's anything magical in there or not. You can try to suss that out and see if there's anything that is magical that Dandy Randy hasn't noticed. If he knows that it's magical, he's not going to sell it to you for anything less than a premium.
True. I guess I'll go to the arcane place. Where's that?
Okay.
That's probably way out of my price range.
Maybe yes, maybe no. What is the name of the arcane store?
Was that Bloodbath and Beyond?
That's Malcolm's.
Oh, that's the other one?
That's the armor. The armor is Bloodbath and Beyond.
Alas.
The the like home improvement stores, the Gnome Depot. Okay, you're at the Arcane Eye.
Okay.
Yeah, you enter and there is an old wizardly chap in the store. He is stroking a very long white Gandalfian beard and says, "Yes."
Looking for magical items.
Item, I know.
Okay.
Magic. And he says, you want something to enhance your fighting abilities? No.
No.
Your love-making abilities?
No.
Well, I never said I was a psychic. What can I help you with?
You know, I might do something to up my charisma a little bit. I got a -1 on that.
To make yourself more likable?
Yes.
Have you tried showering?
What's that?
Yes, indeed.
Sounds awful.
It's where you get wet.
Yeah.
And
no.
Use soap.
Nope. We don't do that.
A magical item to make people like you more. And he opens up a drawer and pulls out a small stone. I need to see what color it is. It is this is a purple stone. And he says, do you know what this is?
Nope.
This is a stone of leadership.
Wear
this stone and others will indeed follow you and like you more.
How much?
Looks it over and says, I could let it go for 100.
Alas. Alas, I do not have 100.
Well, perhaps there's something else you could do for me. We could strike a bargain, maybe.
Such as?
Well, bring me a magical item of equal value that you find, and I would be willing to exchange, perhaps.
We'll see.
You're an adventuring sort.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps you find something out in the field, and we could barter an exchange. Or, you could work the shop. I suppose it would take you 14, 15 years to work off this stone.
No, thanks. Not in town that long.
Very good indeed. And he goes back to stroking his beard and reading this giant tome.
All right. I walk out.
So there's an Ioun stone of leadership that he has that would increase your charisma. But it's quite pricey.
Indeed.
Hatching a plan to steal it.
I am.
Thought you might be.
I love how you can read my thoughts.
What is everybody else doing? What
I'm in there with her.
Okay. Yeah, so you saw that go down.
Yeah, so I'm looking at what I'm looking at is sort of things that would improve fighting ability. And having seen this and the twinkle in her eye at this, am trying to communicate with her that pay attention. And I'm going to try and sort of free her up to snatch said good if the opportunity arises.
Oh, so you're running
a true friend. See, I was
running
going to knock stuff over.
I'm running the distraction.
You're running a distraction scam so that she can steal an Ioun stone from the Arcane Eye.
I was wondering how I was going to distract Ian.
I'm simply occupying his time. Anything else that happens is out of
so as she says that, and he talks about bartering, he's closed this locking mechanism, and it's locked with a click, and he's put it back onto his shelf, and he turns to you and strokes his long white Merlin-esque, Gandalf-esque beard and says, "And how may I help you, good sir?"
I'm interested in fighting. And so I'm going to sort of pull the sort of quarterstaff from my back and kind of flip it around and tap it on the ground in a sort of flourish.
He says, most impressive indeed. What exactly are you looking for? Something to make you stronger, something to make your weapon more powerful, something to...
I'm quite familiar and adept with this, but would be most appreciative of something that perhaps increased its value to me in a fight.
He looks over it and says, well, with the proper base ingredients, this staff could be given magical properties, made stronger and sturdier and able to strike at foes that have abilities against standard weapons.
That sounds interesting.
Alas, unfortunately, with the mountain pass cut off, I have not received a supply of mithril recently, or adamantine, or really any base material which one might use to enchant such an item. There would be a time, material component, and then base cost, of course, but this could be done. If you can find the material components, and I could do such an incantation without much difficulty. You get the sense that he's kind of a little bit pompous about it, but he says, for I could go as low. In this part of the world, I will strongly tell you that you'll not find a better deal. 50 gold. With the base materials brought to me, of course, I can enchant this up to a more magical weapon.
Then let me make you an offer. Were I to find your goods,
Yes.
and bring them to you,
Yes.
perhaps we could trade.
For an item worth 50 gold, of course.
For your items that I have procured safe transport for.
If you find such an item in your adventuring days, then I would be most willing to exchange with you. As I was telling your compatriot here, and he looks over at you, and what are you doing?
Looking around, minding my own business.
You're just looking around. You're not trying to
Pretending
open
I'm not listening to anything.
You're not trying to open a lockbox or anything right now.
Not yet. I'm waiting for my moment.
Okay. He says, he looks over at her and says, as I told your companion here, I am certainly willing to barter. Items have become hard to get these days. The passages to the south are blocked, and supplies are not making their way into East Haven anymore. Even the caravans of traders don't come by anymore, except for that wretched Torga. She's about the only one that sets up caravan outside anymore. He says, back in the day, we used to have random caravan traders of random items found in all over the lands that you could pick up on the streets. No more in these days.
Have you placed an order? Are you awaiting goods? Or is that beyond what you're capable of
That's
doing?
not really how it works. The sellers come through and we purchase. It's not like I order. I have no way to contact.
So you're not sending ravens or...
No. Sellers would come through and orders would be exchanged when traders came. Traders haven't come in about 2 years now. Supplies are only what we have.
It
But-
does not sound like a sustainable business model.
It has been slow. Times are hard, but I simply cannot give away valuable items because times are hard. That is a more unsustainable business.
Then to perform said work, what should I bring you?
Any item of magical value. And we can discuss terms.
But you have the necessary...
Oh, and I would need some of the base ingredient as well.
Okay.
Yes. Ordella, you, with a crit sleight of hand check, as this conversation is going on, have managed to get your hands on the lockbox. You have slipped back behind there and have the lockbox in hand. Are you proficient in thieves' tools?
Ooh,
Do you have thieves' tools or lockpicks?
Hold on, let me check my inventory.
Are you a rogue?
No, I have Smith's tools.
So
If
you don't have
take
Hey,
the whole box.
close enough.
Leonhard has these
Heck
tools.
yeah, I'm taking the whole box. I'm not opening that in the store. Waste of time.
Okay, you've slipped behind the counter with a crit check. How are you gonna get it out of here?
In my bag. Sneak it out under my arm. Just walk out.
Now,
Everything's natural.
tell me briefly what you could do with, say, a piece of adamantine.
Well, adamantine's not one of the more common materials because it is so difficult to melt and smelt. But if we had something of that nature, it could be made into traced runes upon such an item that would allow you to add to its magical capabilities. The preferred material would be mithril, of course, but other items of magical power could certainly be used. The horn of a unicorn, the tooth of a dragon, the scale of a dragon, etc. The feather from a phoenix.
And have there been perhaps dragon sightings? Is there perhaps particles of a dragon that I could pick up?
Occasionally the white beasts make their way across the skies, but if you're picking up a dragon, I wish you the best of luck, good sir. I shall not be attending your funeral, however.
I am simply wondering about picking up perhaps a remnant of a dragon that
not that I'm aware of. Now,
might have dropped a scale.
Now, as this conversation is going on, make me another sleight of hand check. Holy shit! Really?
I already left the room.
Yeah. You've got the box, and you're out. You've got the lockbox.
Thanks. Bye.
You have the lockbox, and you're out.
Thank you very much for your time. Once I have procured some mithril, I shall return. Again, good day.
And you step outside, and Jesus, you have this lockbox that he put the Ioun stone in.
Fist bump
Outside.
Cantrell on the way out.
You have it. What are you doing?
Well,
walking
maybe
away.
You guys,
away.
And then seeing if anybody has thieves' tools, so I don't use my smith tools on it.
Okay. So what are you? So you whip
Once
it out
we get
and
far
say,
enough away.
So you whip it out and say, "I got this." And what's your alignment?
Chaotic neutral for now.
Okay, I guess that fits. We're sort of
For
delving on evil a little bit, but
Yeah,
just a touch.
I'm flexible.
So during all of this shopping stuff, Toot's not really interested in shopping. He doesn't have the money for it. He knows that.
Yep.
So he's been out here. He's building a snowman.
Okay.
And like he's found a couple of sticks and just a handful of, well, I guess he's found, I don't know, you can tell me, like rocks and stuff to help build with the snow.
Uh-huh.
How much was I able to find with all of that?
Avalanche, like rocks and sticks.
Yeah, just a couple of sticks, and then like
you're able to find a few.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna like position it as if one of the arms, the stick is curved and it's going down in front. And on one of the rocks, I'm gonna cast the cantrip light on.
Okay.
And then put it in front as if I've built a snowman that's peeing into the snow. That's
Nice.
all I've been doing during this.
Everybody has a good old laugh about that.
So as you guys are walking out, I imagine this is what you're
Ta-da!
seeing, admiring. Yeah.
Ta-da! Okay. So you've got a lockbox. You're outside. What are you doing with said lockbox?
Am I far enough away?
Heading to Goodmead.
Well, yeah, heading to Goodmead.
So
You
you
see if
guys
I can
just-
borrow somebody's tools on the way and just like pick it while we're
let's
walking.
Are you guys just heading out on the road?
Let's just keep walking.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't look back. Don't slow down.
Absolutely.
No,
All
just ignore it. You hear noise, just keep walking.
Okay. And you guys are heading out of town now?
Yeah.
All right.
Pick up the robot on the way out. It's like, come on, keep walking.
Okay. You guys start making your way out of town. How long is it before you try to open this lockbox? You've sort of made your way out of East Haven, and you're sort of on the east way, heading eastwards.
I guess I'll go ahead and open it now since we're out of town.
Okay, so you stop everybody somewhere along the pathway and sat down to open it up?
Mhm.
Okay.
I feel like this is about to go south.
I know it is. Lord, I've seen enough of these.
It's a TPK by thievery.
So I roll a D100 now,
We've stolen ourselves.
or a D20 and then a D100 to see how bad my damage is.
No.
And this is how you die.
So how are you opening it?
I am checking to see if anyone has any thieves' tools. Does anyone have any?
I do.
Oh.
Leonard has tools?
And I have, I think, proficiency with all the tools.
Ooh, even
Okay.
better. Would you mind opening it?
All right, Leonard, roll me investigation check.
The robot can't die.
Leonard, there is a locking mechanism on the front of this, and there appears to be where you would put a key in, and then there are 4 what look like buttons on the front of the box.
Surely with a 19, he can tell which of the 4 buttons has been pressed more frequently.
That's a very good point.
Is there wear or?
There's not at all. They appear to be magically unblemished somehow.
Curses.
Indeed.
Magic.
That darn magic.
I know, right? I cast a tech match.
Do you?
No, I don't have that.
You have like I cast club.
Yeah, I cast pain.
Let me see.
If we have to go to Hulk smash, then so be it.
Yeah, I just told you what you saw. You could try to pick it and then tell me what you do with the buttons and whatnot.
I guess seeing all of this going on, and it doesn't seem like we're doing anything else today, Toot will, he'll say, why was the gnome artificer embarrassed when his clockwork crocodile stopped working? He had a reptile dysfunction.
Oh.
And bardic inspiration.
You have bardic inspiration, Leonard.
Okay. I'm gonna press buttons 2 and 4
Okay.
and try to pick the lock.
Okay. Roll me just a dexterity check. And are you proficient in thieves' tools?
Yes.
So add your proficiency bonus. So it's dexterity check plus your proficiency bonus.
This seems like a very good idea.
Okay. You insert your lockpicks into it and you press buttons, you said 2 and 4?
2 and 4.
Okay. As you press buttons 2 and 4 and you try to pick this lockbox, all of a sudden your thieves' tools sort of like meld into the box and you can't like pull them back out somehow. And in fact, where your metallic fingers, you have metal fingers, right?
Yep.
Have touched the lockbox, they seem to be like stuck to it a bit.
All right.
And as they do that, the lockbox starts to kind of like wiggle in your hands.
Nope. Hulk smash.
And as that happens, the lockbox extends a long, slender like thing out of it, and it tries to smack you straight in the face. And it rolls a 20 to hit.
That'll do it.
And you're going to take 5 bludgeoning damage.
All right.
I got to turn that volume down. And everybody can go ahead and select your characters first, and then roll initiative. As we are fighting a lockbox.
Where's my... It says my token was not selected. I got a
Okay.
21.
It's got you in there as a 20.
Okay.
Well, I see the roll at least.
Yeah, I'll add you.
Okay.
So you have Bardic Inspiration for 10 minutes. You can add it to an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, and it's a D6.
Sweet.
All right, so I've got Harkus, Leonard, Ordella, and I need Yatara. What was your initiative, Yatara?
Yeah, where is the initiative roll?
On
Got it.
D&D Beyond, if you look at right underneath proficiency bonus. 18. And if you click your token in Roll20, it'll automatically add it to this tracker. All right, so I need, I think I've got everybody. I need Granite Guts. What was your initiative?
I had my token selected. It did not go into the thing.
Yeah, what'd you
It
roll?
was 6.
6. Okay. First up in the order is Ordella, as the lockbox that you've stolen has grabbed on to your robot friend's hands, won't let him go, and has smacked him in the face with what looks like a tongue coming out of it.
Nope. I have a great axe. I'm going to going to attack.
Okay, make me an attack roll. 15.
Eh?
15 is a hit.
Yes. Okay, I'm still trying to learn how to use this. Yeah. Is that?
That's just re-rolling. Click the word Great Axe. There.
Oh, okay.
All right, it didn't.
No.
Now click Great Axe. Okay, click it on the second one.
Okay.
14 slashing. Or I guess they rolled your damage first. That's weird. All right. Anyways, 14
Okay.
slashing. Yeah, that's a good, solid hit. Holy cow. You rolled like near max damage.
That's what
She
I
really
do.
wants the box.
Unhand my friend and open.
Yatara, you're up. So what are you doing, Yatara? It's your turn.
So apparently the only thing I have, unarmed strike.
You have spells and things. You should have cantrips and stuff like that. You're a wizard. That's right. We've got to work through D&D with you because you haven't played a lot. Let me pull up your character sheet. This is our first combat, so all right. Let me get Yatara's character. Okay. So wizard's not the easiest to play as a brand new character, but we'll get you there. No worries. All right. So you have unarmed strike as sort of like your attack, but if you look over in spells, okay, we don't have any spells listed for you. You're a wizard without spells.
So
Awkward.
yeah, on D&D Beyond, Jonathan, where on your character sheet, one of them says spells, and you have to actually click learn in order for it to add it to your character sheet. So if you go to, like in D&D Beyond, if you click manage, and then, let's see,
Yeah.
where is this?
Okay, we've got 3 cantrips, and he has got 4 spells. I tell you what, I'm going to toss you some cantrips as a just to sort of get us through this combat, and then you can change them later. How's that?
Alrighty.
So I'm going to toss you Firebolt. I'm going to toss you maybe Mage Hand. I'm going to toss you, you get 4 of these. Prestidigitation. And you're going to get, I guess that's your 3 cantrips. So Mage Hand, Prestidigitation, and the Firebolt. So Firebolt is sort of like your your cantrip. You get 4 spells, 4 first level spells, and you have some spell slots for those. I think you have 2 spell slots. So I'll toss you some spells, and we can go through and change these for you later, okay?
Okay.
How about we go with, to start you off, something combat-y, like probably not Ice Knife here. Maybe
We found the murderer.
Chromatic Orb would be a good one. Yeah. Chromatic
Sure.
Orb.
Let's go with it.
Tasha's Hideous Laughter is a control spell. You probably want something like Magic Missile. And then we'll go with something like Feather Fall. That'll give you like control. That lets you fall slowly. So there we go. So we've got 4 learned spells there. And we have to prepare said spells. Oh, I'm so not D&D Beyond. How many spells can he prepare? He can prepare 4. Better fall. You have to prepare. Okay. Give me just a sec to get all this set up. Magic Missile is going to be prepared. Wizards are so tough for first-time players. They're fun, but it's prepare. Okay. So now if you click on spells, you'll have at level 0, which are cantrips, you've got 3 cantrips. One of them is Firebolt, that's an attack spell. And then if you look under first, if you click first, you'll see you've got Chromatic Orb, Tasha's Hideous Laughter, and Magic Missile. So against this thing, I would suggest you do either your cantrip Firebolt, or you do Magic Missile or Chromatic Orb. And you can read about those spells later. I would just say one of those attack spells. Magic Missile is an automatic hit. You don't have to roll to hit, but it doesn't do as much damage. Chromatic Orb is going to be like your big damage spell. And then your cantrips are like freebies. You can use them as many times as you want. Your spells, you only get to use twice, and then they're extinguished until you rest. Does that make sense? So you kind of have a big gun, your Chromatic Orb, which is kind of your big spell. You've got the automatically hitting Magic Missile, but doesn't do as much damage. And then you've got your cantrip that you have to roll to hit, but you can use it as many times as you want.
Yeah.
So which would you like to roll with?
I'm going to go big. So Chromatic Orb.
So if we'll click Cast Chromatic Orb, and you can choose the damage type. You want it to be acid damage, cold damage, fire damage, lightning damage, poison damage, or thunder damage.
I'm going to say fire damage.
Select fire damage, and we roll that. So it rolled a 21 to hit. Wow. So the way Chromatic Orb is described, I'll just show you. You create a 4-inch diameter sphere of energy at a creature that you can see within range. So you hurled a sphere of energy, and you chose, you said fire. So you created basically a fiery ball inside of your hands, and you blast it forward at the book, or at the lockbox that is currently biting at your robot friend. And it rolled a 21 against its AC to hit. And it does 12 fire damage, so it hits it. And what we'll do on your character sheet is you've used 1 of your first level spell slots. So on that square there where it's slots, you click off 1, and it's used it. Up next in initiative is the Mimic that is currently biting Leonard, and it's going to try to bite you, Leonard. Does an 11 hit you?
It does not.
Yay.
Okay. Harkus, you're up.
All right, I'm going to move up here. And first I will swing my quarterstaff. That is not good.
Yeah, that's a miss.
And then with my bonus action, unarmed strike.
Okay. 17 hits. Now, since you're using it as a bonus action, you don't get to add your attack modifier. It's just going to do 2 damage. If you're using it as your main attack, then you would get to add your strength. But since you're using it as a bonus action, unless you have feet or something, it'll just do. It'll do 1 plus.
Yeah, it's just like one. What is it? Yeah.
1 damage.
It says 1d4 plus.
Do you have ability for unarmed fighting that gives you d4? Just go ahead and roll it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
It hits. Just go ahead and hit the roll.
Okay.
I'll work it out later.
Okay.
And we can go through, Jonathan, 7 damage. That's good. Jonathan, we can go through your spells later and how that works, okay? We're going to wrap this up here in a second. Toot, you're up.
Okay. I think I will run over here. And in the voice of Harkus Broadtooth, I'm going to shout, "You smell like gnomish feet." And I will cast Vicious Mockery on this thing.
Okay. Does it have to have a certain intelligence for Vicious Mockery to work?
No idea. If the target can hear you, though it need not understand you, it must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, I'll say it can hear.
Okay.
14.
That saves.
Okay. The book is undaunted by.
Fair enough. I don't think it takes damage since this is a cantrip, so I think if it passes, it's fine.
Yeah. All right, Leonard, you're up. It is stuck to you hard and fast.
Okay. Hang on, let me. Are there any rocks around?
Not so much.
Are there any objects weighing 1 to 5 pounds within a 60-foot range?
Roll me a perception check.
Awful specific.
Yeah, you can see a stick that's a few feet away from you. You'd have to use half your movement to get there, but there's a stick that you say is somewhere between 1 and 5 pounds. Okay, tell me what you're doing here with catapult and a stick.
I am catapulting the stick at the mimic on my hand.
So you have like
DC 12 dex save.
So you have like Magneto power. You can just like.
Yes.
An awesome spell.
It is an incredible spell. 3d8 damage.
Holy shit! And it's got to do a dex save.
Yes. Oh.
So it passes. Does it take half damage?
No.
Because I was gonna make you roll the dexterity save since this is coming at your arm.
Oh wait, hang on. Oh, on a failed save. Yeah.
On a failed save, okay. So it manages to wiggle out of the way. Cadillac Granite Guts, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to move around here beside it and yell, "Be shattered, you demon box!" And I'm going to hit it with my Warhammer.
Okay.
And let me see. This is my first time of doing this through Beyond. And so there it is.
Okay. Yeah, 17 hits. Are you doing that two-handed or one-handed?
I'm doing it.
What would she have done?
We'll say two-handed.
Okay. You bring down the smack two-handed with your warhammer on top of it, screaming, "Begone, foul thing!" Ordella, who just slashed at it with his axe. What is Leonard doing this whole time, like while people are smacking at his hand?
Right, keeping his hand at arm's length, literally, like trying to stay out of the way of it. It's over here.
Yeah.
And staying very still.
Right, trying to keep my body out of the way of collateral damage.
As I ready my great axe again.
All right.
All right, I'm going to hit. Ah, that hit.
It does not, alas.
Alas.
Stay
still.
It does not. Yatara, you're up. You have one first level spell slot left, and then you have your cantrips.
I think I will try. I think this time I'll try Magic Missile.
Okay. So Magic Missile will create 3 bolts, so they are all 1d4 plus 1. So you can go ahead and cast that on your sheet, and it should put it in there. You may have to cast it 3 times to get 3 different rolls, but they all automatically hit. They just boom, boom, boom. Each level you cast it up at, you get an extra bolt, basically. So it's at first level. If you go to second level, you get 4 bolts, etc. So do you know where the spells are on your sheet?
Yeah, did it not cast over?
It's still not crossing. What did it roll? For some reason, it must be a D&D Beyond Beyond 20 error, because when I cast it on your sheet, it will work.
Yeah, it didn't actually cast one and show one.
See, like it. Oh, there it went 5. Yeah. Maybe that was me doing it. D&D Beyond, God, you're so bad.
Yeah, you might need to do them because it's not. I don't think mine's.
All right. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go Magic Missile. I don't know what's going on with Beyond. It's my Beyond 20 app is having a problem, I guess. I'll give this one more try here. Magic Missile. Cast. Oh, it thinks that I've... There we go. All right, so it does 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 damage. Just pop, 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 pop. Pops this thing for 12. And it is still hanging on, and it's going to chomp down on the person that tried to open it, Leonard. 22 to hit you, Leonard. Yeah. Leonard, it does 6 piercing and 6 acid damage for 12 damage. How are you doing, Leonard?
I'm dead.
Leonard drops down unconscious into the ground. You're not dead. What was your total HP?
11.
And you went negative how much?
I
There's
am
no way you're dead
negative
then.
7.
So you're not dead. You're just unconscious. But Harkus, you're up as this thing has dropped Leonard down. It's still attached to Leonard, and it looks like it's going to try to eat him.
Okay. Quarterstaff. Oh, don't be like that. Don't be like that.
Yeah, that's a miss. That'll hit. All right. As you punch it, your hand sticks to it. And it didn't seem to do that before, but now you're like stuck right onto it. Toot. You're up.
Okay. And it's Harkus that's down?
No, it is Leonard.
Leonard that's down.
Who was
okay.
being eaten by the thing.
Okay. I will look at Leonard and say, what did one tonsil say to the other tonsil? Get dressed up. The doctor's taking us out. And I'll cast Healing Word.
Oh, God. I love it.
That was a good one.
And Leonard, by the incredible words of your dad joke bard, you are revived. And just in time, Leonard, because it's your turn and you've been released by this thing.
All right.
Oh.
I'm gonna cast then Ray of Frost.
Okay. That hits. All right, Leonard.
For max damage.
As you cast Ray of Frost, the mimic structure begins to completely freeze over. And as it does so, all of a sudden, the sticky substances that your compatriot's hand is now stuck to begins to sort of freeze and cracks and pops, and the case pops open. And the mimic stops moving. And
The
inside
good
of
news
it,
is Leonard now knows what a combination lock is.
yeah,
Commit that to memory.
and sitting inside of this case is a single, very shiny, beautiful purple stone.
All right.
I'll walk over, pick up the stone, kick the box a couple times, just to make sure.
Yeah, you punt the stone across, or you
No, I
punt
punt
the
the box.
you punt the box.
Yes.
You have found an Ioun stone of leadership.
Yay.
I was really hoping there'd be something else.
Yay,
in
go
there.
team.
Yeah, I was
No.
hoping it was a locked box of a number
Multiple.
of things.
Nope, it is a lockbox of Ioun stone of leadership.
Thank you.
You guys
She's
are
gonna have
in-
to use it in order to make us like her after opening basically Capone's vault.
Yeah. Everybody that's here, roll perception.
$23.
Leonard, you're the only one that sort of gets this. As you're sort of down in the snow, just sort of barely hanging on and looking at this stone that you forced open, you hear a very distinct sound that I don't know. How familiar are you with animal sounds, Leonard?
Not at all.
Roll me nature real quick. See if you know what this is. 13. You've heard about it maybe in stories. You hear a sound of what sounds like a howling canine type animal. And then a baying sound coming from directions around you.
Okay, I'm going to say, guys, I think it's a bear.
It goes, ow. And you're the only one that picks it up. And
Listen for
That-
the bear.
and that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we will leave it for the evening. As you guys are in on the middle of the way out towards Good Mead, and you've popped open a mimic lockbox.
Yay.
You learned the first lesson of D&D. Every box is both a mimic and not a mimic until you choose to try to open it.
So,
It's
Just-
Schrodinger's
just-
mimic.
just so I better understand mimics.
Mhm.
Did it become a mimic when the chest was unsuccessfully opened,
Yes. Yes.
or was it always a mimic?
No, it was a magical security device on it. If you had entered the proper code and turned the lock properly, it would have just popped open and not been a mimic. And I
Okay.
actually set a combination in my mind for what is the proper. And so you had to choose the right combination, and you had to roll better than a DC 12 on your dexterity lockpicking check. And if you beat a 12 and you chose the right combination, it pops open. Either of those fail, and it bites you.
He seemed
that's
like a
awesome.
1, 2, 3, 4 password kind of guy.
Well, you chose 1 and 4, right?
2 and 4.
2 and 4.
2 and 4, yeah.
Oh,
that
my
was not
bad.
the-
That was the right one.
That was not the code, because it was actually the exact opposite to it. It was 1 and 3 and then turn.
Of course it was.
Of course.
And if you chosen 1 and 3, it's 2 and 4.
Part of me
That's
picked this wrong.
because that's how D&D works. No, actually, no. I really had set a number, and I totally would have let you get it right if you had rolled high enough on you rolled like a crit fail on your lockpick check.
Right.
If you'd rolled high enough on your lockpick check and you had chosen the combination that I had in my head, then it would have popped open.
It was fun.
You got a super powerful magical item for
Yeah, I'm trying
nothing.
to read up on it now.
For nothing. You got an Ioun stone that you stole for nothing. Basically, you can toss this thing into the air, and it orbits your head like 2 feet from her head, just swirling around. And it lets you do some crazy things that nobody can get it away from you. Your charisma score increases by 2 while it's swirling around you.
Okay, so does it stay swirling or? Like,
Yep. Another
just
creature
constantly
can
have a
try to
stone going around my
another
head.
creature can try to separate it from you, swirling around your head by making an AC 24 attack roll or a DC 24 dexterity check to try to snatch it off of your head. It's got an AC of 24. It's got 10 hit points to be destroyed, and it is considered to be an object that is being worn while it orbits your head. It does require attunement. For Jonathan, who hasn't played very much, or Melissa, you can attune to 3 items. So if you attune to this Ioun stone, you have to mark that you're attuned to it. But your charisma score increases by 2. So what's your charisma right now?
Well, it was -1.
No.
Now
What
it
is
says
your score was 8.
Yeah, so now
Your
it's 10.
charisma, it would be 10.
Yeah.
If you're wearing this. So it's basically like gaining a level. That's the equivalent of that's literally almost the equivalent of gaining a level.
Yeah.
Which, if you survive next week, you'll probably be gaining.
Yay.
All right. Good night, everybody. I hope you guys had fun. I will try to put out a. Boy, you guys took that in a random, weird direction. I had no idea we were going to good meat, and I had no idea we were going to steal a magical item, and
Fun times.
that's what makes
Booze
D&D
and
fun.
freebies. Booze and
Stealing meat
freebies.
tomorrow, next week.
Oh, Kenny.
Yeah.
Your magical item that you have.
Oh, is it a magical item?
Maybe. Yeah. You have to get that identified. You don't know what it is, and you don't have an ability to identify it, but you have an item.
Sphere of slope detection.
Yes,
To
the
be
sphere
fair,
of slope detection.
The sphere slope detection was crucial.
Yeah, that was very helpful, really.
For Jonathan who doesn't know, Kenny got a magical item. It was the sphere of slope detection. You put the ball on a hill, and if it rolls, there's a slope.
That was
But he
Ghidorah,
actually
right?
found a way
Yeah.
to use it.
Yeah, it's kind of like the weather stone. Set the stone outside. Is the stone wet? It's raining.
Yeah,
Is the
it's
stone
raining.
dry? It's sunny.
If it's gone, it's a tornado.
Right.
I had a couple other. I had a ring of invisibility. You put the ring on, and the ring becomes invisible.
Yeah, that wasn't
remember
cool.
that one,
That
yeah.
was not cool, man. Not
There was
cool.
a helmet of universal translation that translated everything into Gnomish, thinking surely nobody took Gnomish as a language. Nope, turns
Well.
out someone took Gnomish.
Yep. That was me.
Weird hobbies.
All right, good night, everybody. I'll see you guys next week.
See you.
Good
Sorry,
night.
sorry it ran 30 minutes late.
No, it was great.
Night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Now, y'all.